Hello everybody and welcome back to the tips once again. This is going to be a very short video. I'm hoping to get this out by this afternoon, and to do that I'm going to have to waffle a bit less than I usually would. Let's go through my round 6 tips. Started off really well, got the Thursday night upset correct. I thought Brisbane, they had to lose a game eventually with how they were starting off games. And Carlton, fairly simple tip. A few people I did see tip North Melbourne, but they just didn't look like it at all. Essendon, well, they very nearly lost that game. Just a pretty ordinary game, skills-wise and everything else. But Essendon, they did what they needed to do, I guess, and they got the W. That's 3 wins in a row, but they still don't really... I don't feel like they're that good of a team, but 3 wins in a row suggests that they must be at least somewhat alright. The next few games didn't get correct. Fremantle didn't think that Melbourne would get their first win, but they made a statement at the selection table and it paid off for them. GWS, I think it was the first time I tipped against Adelaide all season, and of course that was the game they were going to win, of course. And Gold Coast did not expect that at all. Richmond to get the job done. Then I tipped Port Adelaide, didn't tip the Bulldogs. That really didn't see that one coming. And then Geelong, they got it done in a thriller. Unfortunately, didn't get to watch that game, but it looked like a cracking matchup. Let's get into round 7. Anzac Day Eve, we've got Melbourne taking on Richmond. Noah Bolter's going to be out for this game with a curfew. That sounds funny to say. Melbourne with their first win of the season last week, and Richmond on the right track, it seems. Well, clearly, after that win against Gold Coast, people were tipping them to be winless this season. They've already got 2 wins on the board, which is nothing substantial, but compared to expectations, it's brilliant. And yeah, they've got some absolutely brilliant youngsters on that team. Their senior players are really towing the line as well. Like Taranto, McIntosh, Tom Lynch. He's been a bit down on form, but he's competed consistently. But they've been fantastic, the Tigers so far this year, with what they were expected to do. Melbourne, now they've got that first win on the board, surely confidence is a little bit higher. They seemed to rejig their game plan last week, and it worked out for them. I think that they should get the job done here. Max Gawn looks back to his best, and at their best, all of the players on that list, they should still be a decent team. So I am going to tip them to win this one. It should be a good game. I'm going to tip them by 20 points. Now for the Anzac Day matchup, Collingwood versus Essendon. Now I'm not entirely sure, but I think that it is going to be a bit wet for this game. So I'm not really sure which team that favours more so. I know Darcy Moore is out, so that's a big loss for Collingwood. They don't really have great key defensive depth at the moment. That's probably their one weakness. But I still think that surely Essendon don't win 4 games in a row. I still don't think they're a very good team at all, the Dons. They've now got Sam Draper out for the season, as well as Nick Bryan. So their 2 main ruckmen this year are both out. Todd Goldstein, he's like 56. I think Darcy Cameron should get the better of him in the ruck battle. And I think, Collingwood are top of the ladder somehow. It doesn't really feel like they should be top of the ladder, but they are. And the ladder doesn't lie. So I think they're the better team and they should win this one fairly comfortably. I'm going to go by 30 points. Freo taking on Adelaide. Well, I kept on backing in the Dockers to bounce back. Even after their first couple of losses, I still thought that they were going to be one of the better teams this year, but now I'm just not so sure. It's not looking great for them. The Crows, on the other hand, they got their first big scalp of the season. Before that, their 3 wins came against 3 teams that most people thought were going to be pretty mediocre coming into this season, but they got a big scalp against GWS. They showed that they can actually defend pretty well when they put their minds to it. So I'm going to tip them to win this one by 25 points. Alright, I'm going to have to get through the rest of this pretty quickly because I'm just looking at my camera now and it is very low battery. So I'm going to speed run through the rest of these tips. Brisbane, they should bounce back against St Kilda. I think they're the better team. Last week was probably a good loss for them, a bit of a reality check. So I think they'll win this one, even though it is in Melbourne, by 20 points. Port Adelaide versus North Melbourne. Port look to be back in a bit of form. They've looked fairly impressive the last 2 weeks. North Melbourne, they've looked anything but that. Port are going to smash them. I can remember a few times in the past few years where Port Adelaide have really put North Melbourne to the sword, and I think that they should win this one comfortably. Let's go by 60 points. GWS versus the Bulldogs. This should be a good grudge match. The Bont is back for the Dogs, but unfortunately Sam Darcy is out for the next few months. Thankfully not an ACL injury. I really grimaced a bit when I saw that. I love watching Sam Darcy play, and 3 months out is not ideal, but it's better than the alternative, which was a season-ending 6 to 9 month ACL injury. So I think Giants win this one. They bounce back. They're still a pretty good team, and it should be a cracking game though. I'm going to go GWS by 10 points. Gold Coast versus the Swans. I think the Swans, we've just got too many injuries at the moment and we look like we've hit a wall. Gold Coast, they should bounce back, and I don't really see us winning this one at People's First Stadium. Yeah, the Suns, they should bounce back. Still think they're a pretty solid team. Let's go Suns by 23. Carlton versus Geelong. Now, this is going to be a good test for Carlton. They beat 2 teams that are expected to finish near the bottom of the ladder. Can they do against a real team? Geelong, I think, are still one of the best teams in the competition, and I've tipped them to win this one. I still don't rate Carlton that highly. I had them, 14th pre-season, and yeah, they haven't really done anything to prove that I'm wrong so far. So Geelong by 34 points. Final game in the round, Hawthorn. They've lost a couple of games in a row, but there's no better team to bounce back against than the Eagles is there at home at Marvel Stadium. They should smash the Eagles, I think. Even though they did put in a better performance last week, West Coast, still, they're nowhere near on the same level as Hawthorn. Will be potentially a good audition for Oscar Allen if he wants to leave. But yeah, let's go Hawthorn by 59 points. That is the end of the round. Let's just quickly speed run through this ladder before my camera goes flat. Collingwood still on top, Brisbane in second, Gold Coast and Adelaide push up into the top 4. Got Geelong, GWS, Hawthorn and Port Adelaide up into the top 8. Bulldogs just hanging around in 9th, Fremantle in 10th. St Kilda, Essendon, Carlton, Sydney all the way down to 14th. And then the bottom 4 is more or less the same as it has been for the last few rounds. Melbourne, Richmond, North Melbourne and West Coast. Let's see if I can get this outro done before the camera goes flat. Hope you guys did enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy. Comment down your tips in the comment section below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.